So personally, I really don't play with elders that much in The Sims 4 because after they retire, they really don't have a lot to offer me to play with them solely. I mean, they can get another job, go to university, hang out with friends and family, paint, knit, cross stitch, the list goes on and on. But for me to really fully immerse myself into an elder like type gameplay for fun, is kind of difficult. So I think for me, what I really would love to see for elders is like more attention, like proper clothing, proper gameplay. I would love a elder care station, walking canes, like random little tidbits that we had in the Sims 3 generations for elders. I would love to see in the Sims 4, but a little extra oomph to them to kind of make it more long lasting. And so today, to kind of give me back into the whole elder, love and excitement, I wanted to build a elderly care center for my elders, specifically three different elders that I have in mind that I think could really thrive in here and just have fun. And so today, that is what we're building, and I for sure will have a story for you all to tell, because every time I build, I always have a story that's like a soap opera that you all find very entertaining, and so do I. So previously on Young and the Restless in The Sims 4. So like I said, I find with elders in The Sims 4 are quite not as entertaining to play with, but whenever I am like going through the game, wanting to like, actually make them, I try to build something first before I like make the Sims and, do some gameplay and see what it can possibly do. And so I wanted to build like this elderly care station or this like elder center for three Pacific elders that I want to create in a creative sim because I really am just so excited for more future gameplay for The Sims 4. Because if you don't remember, the Sims team announced their like quarterly teaser of what we're gonna get in The Sims 4 for the next 3 months. I mean, of course, we're gonna get an infant update. We're also gonna get one expansion, two new kits, and like a community live stream on January 31st. And this is kind of getting me excited because the whole teaser was literally a tree and it's all relative. And when I think of relative and family tree, I think, family tree overhaul, maybe new gameplay for elders or infants or toddlers, like whatever it might be. And so I think the first thing that gets me excited about generational gameplay is having like a nursing home for elders or some place where elders can like hang out and meet people. And this is that. And there are actually technically three different rooms in this little facility here because it's more of a high prestige, very private, secluded nursing home. And these three elders actually went to school together in Copperdale. And Copperdale is one of the new worlds that we got with the high school year pack. And what I find so funny is that Copperdale has a lot of history and a lot of Sims in there. And each and every Sim have their own different type of personality. They have clubs like chess club, computer club, cheerleading, football. They have a lot of different things. And career day and prom and graduation. And I always hear all these stories and all these movies about, they have their high school sweetheart, the captain of the football team, the head cheerleader, all the people that were really popular or, had a really good life in high school or just like technically peaked through high school. For me, high school was a nightmare, but it was also a very fun time. Show choir, magicals, musicals. I did everything art related. So for me to kind of make this little elderly station here, I felt that it needed something there where they can like have fun and sleep there and live there. And so these three Sims specifically, I have not created. So I'm just not going to really name their names at all until I kind of figure it out as I go. But there are three Sims. One is more of on the rich side of things of life. And there's one that was a part of the football team. And then there was another one was part of the football team, cheerleading team, chess club, and also computer club. So they were in four different clubs. And these three Sims in specifically had a really fun time just like being friends. They didn't care what people thought about them. They just wanted to do things that was entertaining for them to have fun and not really have a terrible time in high school. Because high school, I feel like are the first 4 years of your life that you really want to thrive and make a difference and make a name for yourself before you go off into university. And with these Sims specifically, they lived in Copperdale, but one moved to Willow Creek, one moved to Oasis Springs, so they were all kind of spread around in different parts of the world, and they kept connected through social media. And with social media, they kind of connected that way through live streams, text messaging, instant messaging, and every once in a while they would go over to Copperdale because that's their hangout spot, go to the festival, on the Ferris wheel, the Tunnel of Love, the spooky house, and just have just good old fashioned fun. Like, I don't know about you, but with high school, I had a fun time, but I also had a terrible time at the same time because high school is all about, excitement, making friends, making a difference, and like really making a name for yourself. And I was in show choir, magicals, musicals, the plays. Like, I really was fully immersed in all that stuff. I did video production, I did yearbook, I did a lot of things to really hone on my skills to make it better for myself. And I feel like I did. But with school and people that don't know who you are, people get bullied. And being bullied is not fun. I will not tolerate any kind bullying, words, physical, emotional, mentally. I don't like that stuff. That stuff is awful. It should belong in the trash and step on a Lego. But for me specifically for these Sims, I wanted to make sure that these Sims all had different traits and different personalities, where they would always stick up for literally anyone and everyone, no matter who they were, no matter how old they were. They were always having each other's backs for each other and other people. And like I said, these Sims, they're all rich. They're all rich. That is why they technically own this facility. And you may think, rich Sims, oh, they're so snobby. They're just like Nancy Landgrab and Judith Ward. No, they were like that when they were like, young, like 9 years old. But now they're like in their 60s, 70s, 80s year old, in that era. And they were like, no, 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 we're not going to do this. We're not going to be, our four people, like, Judith Ward or Nancy Landgrab. We're not going to be like those people. We want to be better. We want to make this world a better place. And with these elders owning this facility here, this little residential area, they're owning this property to bring light and joy and happiness to the world for the seniors in The Sims. And I always found like they're always holding off, cooking competitions for themselves, for people around in the area. They're always holding, fun little plays for themselves, going back to their old high school where they used to go to, like back in like the late 1960s or whatever, and really thriving and making it happen. Like they would volunteer for career day, showing off like what their career was, showing off, at prom and graduation and helping with, different things to make the school more lively. They would volunteer, substitute teachers, they would really show up for the younger generation. And I find that they always say respect your elders because that is very true. Respecting your elders is always the thing you should do because you never really know, what's going to happen, especially with your own grandparents or whoever that's older than you. You never really know what's going to happen the next day. And keeping the people close to you that you truly love and appreciate, you got to stay connected. And staying connected is what these people did. Well, I mean, one went to school for computer science, which lives in the middle part of this little home. One went to school, I think, for like sports related robotic type of things. I think this is the one right here, the one that I'm building right now, the room, went for robotics. The middle room went for computer science, and then the first room went for more of like an artsy type of route, but was like kind of flexible with all the things they were doing. Like they just would go everywhere. Sometimes per semester they would change their major, which is a thing that I have done before when I was in university. Never again. I've only changed my major once, one from music to UI and UX design. So that is what I did. But I don't know. I think that with these Sims, with the skill set that they have, they wanted to really like say, hey, I may be like this age or whatever, and you may think I'm like crazy and old and not young, hip, and with it or anything like that. The young lingo, like the other day, someone told me in my chat that the new lingo is fire. And I'm like, what in the world is fire mean? I don't understand what that means. I don't know what that means. If you know what fire means, let me know, because I don't know what it means at all. But regardless, I think that with this build, I was super excited just to be able to build something different, but also build something for elders specifically, because I have a hunch. I have a hunch that we're going to get more elder gameplay, but I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I can feel it in my bones because I always think, with the Sims team, they're always trying to do something new and do things that they haven't done before, which they said years ago in like a tweet, blog post, or whatever. And I find that with elders, they are trying to give them more attention, but I really don't know how they're going to do it. But I want elders to have some, some limelight in the world. Like, I want to give them all that they need and want and make them thrive, because I find after you retire in The Sims 4 or as soon as you become an elder, there's not really as exciting things for them to do. Like, I mean, they can paint, garden, cook. They can do all the things your Sims can do anyway, but they have a little extra, how I would put it, difficulty doing things. I mean, I know when your Sims woohoo in The Sims 4 as an elder, too much, they get over like stimulated, and it's like it's not too much, it's too much on their heart and stuff like that, so it gets a little bit crazy. But I think honestly there should be a little bit extra something. Like, I would love to have them go on like a fake, rabbit hole cruise, or, having something. I don't know what I want, but I want something for them. I should make a whole video about elders and why I feel like elders deserve so much more than any other life stage, because it's their last stage of their life. They need something to make them thrive. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But I think when I was building this little facility here for the three different Sims, I didn't know what I was going to do technically for the furnishing. So I came back after a while back ago, about 2 days ago, to finish this build. Because initially this was for my shell challenge a few months back. And I'm just now finishing it because I was like, I'm waiting until we get some type of like teaser or announcement for, the next expansion pack, or something like that. So like I was waiting until the right time. And I feel like now is the time to make these like generational type builds and really make it happen for all of ourselves. But let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite age stage in The Sims 4? But especially, have you played with elders before? If you have, let me know, because I'm curious on how many people play with elders, because I personally don't, but I think I want to really try and push myself to play with them more, especially kind of make their last, couple of years memorable. And taking photos is what I love to do in the game. Like, I love taking photos so much more than anything else. And I feel like when making this little like elder center here, what I found so entertaining and very memorable and just very relaxing for them, especially like for my older Sims, like adults and elders, and like sometimes like my teenagers who have an old soul to them. I find that gardening is so much more fun. So these three different Sims, what they do, like I said, they hold competitions, they hold, community day, and I feel as I'm gonna keep this lot residential, but I also had an idea of making it also a community space, but then also a community lot, like a park or some type of like national park, something like random that really makes it community based. But if they're gonna live here, I might as well just gonna leave it the way it is as residential to keep it base game friendly for everyone. But eventually I think what I want to do is put this on a bigger lot, or just make a completely different build just for elders. Straight up everything from gardening to sewing to like crocheting and cross stitching. Like, I want to do all the things for them. So I cannot wait to make these Sims. I'll probably won't use any custom content on these Sims because I'm trying to really, make it, where I'm not using as much CC on my Sims. Because I don't use any custom content in my builds at all. I just use all debug and in-game stuff that's already widely available for everyone that has access to The Sims 4. Pretty easy, I find. But utilizing this lot specifically on a 30 by 20 lot in Newcrest, and just the way it's like shaped and where it's located, I felt that Newcrest is all about new beginnings, new horizons, and making a true difference the way you want to make it, because Newcrest is literally blank, a blank world that we have, and you can do literally anything and everything you want and making your own. And I find that quite entertaining and very exciting. But what I'm gonna go and do is actually go into the game so I can show you the whole build in real time, because I find that with speed builds, the way I build is very sporadic and a lot to handle when it's so fast and kind of confusing. So we're gonna slow it down in real time so you can see the whole build in all its glory. Because I realized I didn't do the bathroom, so I'm gonna go in the game and do the bathroom, and I can show you all the things that it has to offer, especially for the exterior, because I'm really, really proud of the exterior. Like, for sure. Now, personally, I find with my builds, they tend to look the same roof texture, same wall siding, you know, so on and so forth. The list goes on and on and on. But the point is, I made a build for elders that I found not really well used in my Sims 4 game or in general. So I wanted to build something for them and keep it, you know, generic with what I know. And originally I was going to make it all completely base game, but I felt with elders and base game, there's really not a lot to really do for them. So I did not restrict with the packs that I used in this build, so I apologize, but the next build we'll probably do will be, you know, restricted of the packs. However, the outside, I want to keep it simple, like with some seating and a chess table. I was gonna put in like some crocheting, you know, knitting type of places over here, but I felt outside in the front yard, you really want that. And of course, if you want to have knitting, you have that pack, you can put them out here, of course, but I want to keep it simple with, you know, just some stuff around here. But then for the interior, I find that I wanted to go with something over the top, cluttered, but simple at the same time, because it is only a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home fit for 3 elders, and that is literally it. But of course, you can change it however you would like to. But since it's like an elderly care, nursing home, senior center area, I felt for this side right here, I felt this little book signified, hey, you come in, sign your name in the book, meet the people, or just like a little general memento type of thing. Because the Sims that live here specifically, like I said, they do a lot of events. They love making friends, making people feel seen and heard and just appreciated. And having this book allows them to go back into the book and see all the memories, the names, and all the photos, just like general keepsake type of thing. So I kept it over here because I think it looks really nice. Of course, we do have like a mirror to check yourself before you go outside so you don't look raggedy. But then here is the living room, and I honestly was gonna make it very, you know, nice and classy and simple. But I felt like with these elders, they all have different personalities, the way they dress, the way they act, and all the things. So I wanted to incorporate a lot of their style into this room. So I used like some paranormal stuff pack, which is my favorite pack known to man for stuff packs as of right now, even though that was the last one that we got in The Sims 4 until further notice. But I really love this couch, and I love these little armchairs over here. So I used both of them, all mismatched, all kind of wackadoo crazy. I definitely had to use the pastel pop kit and the nifty knitting kit or pack and the everyday clutter kit. But I felt like I changed this over here into a little like vinyl record player stereo over here instead of a cabinet with stuff in it. So I wanted to keep it over here with a nice little painting. And of course we do have a lovely bulletin board here to put all your notes and things. We got your TV, we got little snacks, we got little coin, little bowl change, and all of your crocheting and knitting stuff in the corner. So for this one right here, you can definitely see they are very athletic and they love sports and they have a lot of trophies. And I said like in the speed build portion that these Sims were all like, you know, athletes, and they joined clubs and just like being interactive with people. And so this person was the head and the captain of the football team. They won different awards, MVP trophy. They loved boxing, basketball, some yoga, and they're just like a bit of an old timer type of person, just loves keeping, you know, keepsakes for memories for whoever might come by. And of course I added in like their bike and their fishing pole and a bunch of knickknacks on their desk, because right now they currently do some writing for university and, you know, just general funsies to kind of put their name out into the world until their untimely demise. But I wanted to put that over here in this little general area, which is really cute. And then in here we have another bedroom for another Sim who is pretty much a jack of all trades. They were on the football team, they love cheerleading, chess, computer club, they did everything. So I put all their knickknacks and paddywhacks, give a dog a bone, in their own room. They love mystery, the end is fear, and also how I dumped your father. And then in this last room right here, really there's nothing really exciting about it. This sim is a musician. They love music, love singing, they love dancing, all the things, but they don't really have a lot of memories that they kept when they were in high school. They kind of threw that all away. They just like, I don't care, I don't want it, just sell it, I don't care. So they kind of just kept it a plain Jane in their room with a nice computer and music, jazz, saxophone, photo in their room, which I think is really nice and cute. But you can definitely see the different personalities in each room on how they're so similar, but all different in a way. And I felt it was just like, it screams 3 Sims, 3 amigos, 3 friends, but completely different vibes as they got older. And then here they have their kitchen, which is all, small and knickknacks. I think your sim can actually only cook on here and on here, and that should be okay. I wasn't going to add in a microwave at first, but I felt a microwave was needed because who's going to cook in this house? Not these Sims. So they end up hiring a cook every once in a while when they want food, or they order, Zoomies or get takeout, whatever it might be, but they hardly ever use the stove. So they have that here for their chef, their private chef. And then we have like different seating areas and of course their bookcase. And then back here is where they do all the community things for all their friends who might come around at some point. And I put a little gardening area back here because it reminded me of the Eco Lifestyle trailer and the community space and how Sims are like going over there, helping with the garden and just make it more lively and pretty and youthful. And then we have a flower arranging table, some apple trees to be planted, and a nice little seating area. And I also felt like with these Sims, they do love nature. And I wanted to put like a rabbit home and a little flock of wild birds and their bicycles. And then, of course, a beverage cart that every once in a while someone come by, bring some, some goods, especially when they have community day, they have someone hired to run this area. And then back here, we have more seating with some more crocheting and knitting, and then a nice little bird feeder for the birds who come by. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scooch-a-booch this window over here, press F5 to squeeze it in a little bit more, along with this one as well, because I want to put a shower tub combo here. That way your Sims can like use whatever they want, whether they want to shower, whether they want to take a bath, whatever it might be, they can do with what they please. And then I'll put the sinks over here. I think I can squeeze in at least 2 sinks and move the door over because I want to use like Parenthood because Parenthood looks really nice. So I'll put 2 sinks here. I'll change the colors to kind of fit the tub combo. And I'll change the wallpaper as well because I felt the wallpaper was going to match, but it did not at all. That doesn't match. Oh, here it is. Oh, that looks really cute. I'm going to go with that one. Go with something funky, something that I don't use that often. Because I don't know about you, but sometimes I tend to use the same items over and over, and it's just not pleasant to the eye, at least for me. So I'm like, let's change a little bit. Let's live a little. It's 2023. Let's be different. But I realized I did not add any pet-related things. So maybe if I squeeze in, move this over a smidge, and then move this over here, this could be really cute. But that's my entire build. I hope you all like it. It's very, very cute. Pretty pleased, and I cannot wait to build even more. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, that this build is also eco-friendly. We have solar panels up here. So, gotta keep it eco-friendly around here. New crest for the elderly, especially in The Sims 4, because Sims 4 elders don't live that long, and they have a hard time dealing with life. But either way, as always, do let me know down in the comments below of what you thought of today's build, especially if you have or have not played with elders in The Sims 4, because especially with, the new teaser of Generations or just in general more family gameplay, I feel like a lot of us are going to start playing with elders a lot more and cherish them for the long haul, because I really want to, and I'm hoping that we get some more and good quality content that's age appropriate for these elders, because they don't got that much and they need way more attention like ASAP. But lo and behold, that's all I got today, but I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!